to welcome you all to Okita, the podcast. Um, I am Nikita. Welcome to the year 2024 of love, abundance, and greatness. This show is about self love, spirituality, healing trauma, and breaking generational curses, and also purpose. I am your host, and I am blessed to share these stories, experiences, and words of empowerment. First off, I would like to just talk about spirituality and my healing journey. I am here in Minneapolis. I grew up in North Minneapolis. I actually was raised in foster care since I was 3 years old. And through all of these experiences in my life, I'm able to share these things with you guys. I actually grew up singing and dancing and being in a community where I used all of these different avenues of creativity to push myself to be the best me that I could be. I am really empowered to use this platform to motivate people, to let them know that you can do whatever your heart desires. It there's no limitations on pursuing your dreams and mastering your craft and practicing all of these things, putting them into play to be the best you. I started my spiritual journey about 2 years ago. And if you would have said that I would be fully immersed in dancing and loving myself, pushing myself, creating my music, sharing it with the world, I would say you were an absolutely lie. I would say that I hesitated so much, so long about these things that I really wanted for myself. And sometimes those things are hard because you might not have the support. You might not even know your full potential or your worth, but living in those things and call into your greater power, if that is God or if that is just self-discipline, love. I believe that all those things are built within you from the start. And you just have to find a way to push through and know that these things are possible. When I first started my journey, I was completely scared of the possibilities that this thing really could work. And that stopped me for so long. You know, I think that self discipline is one of the greatest things that's going to make those things happen. Affirmation, speaking those things into existence. I had to even just sit in the mirror and say, I am love. I am capable, that I am willing to do everything that I can to be the best me that I could be, whether it is changing my atmosphere, my environment, the people that I hung around, just fully knowing that if I believe in me, anything is possible. So I really, hope that this platform will not only help other people, I hope that it will help me to know that I can do this and that words are powerful. So even just getting up in the morning and saying, I'm going to come here and I'm going to do this, you know, despite questioning what others might say or think, you really have to be in it to win it, because that's the only way that you're going to even push to make things happen. Going back to just going through my spiritual journey, I I let go of a lot of people that wasn't best for my journey and for the things that I wanted. And even though those things are hard, it is worth it. It's worth it. You absolutely have to know that there is somebody that is wanting to be great. There is somebody that has been through pain and been through trauma and have lived through situations that will absolutely make them sink or swim, And for those people that head is just a little bit underwater, just know that I'm here to say I'm a living testament of those things, and just keep going, have that faith, use your creativity. I use my music and the things that I was going through, I put them on paper, and it wasn't so much as, I'm going to blow up and be a big star. It was more of, I need to free myself. And how can I do those things, if I keep myself contained in a box, if I don't reach outside of myself and push myself to do those things. So I truly believe that everything happens for a reason. You meet people for a reason, and you go through situations to push you to be exactly where you're meant to be. Just to talk about how strong I believe that my spirituality is, and that I believe that my faith and pushing myself to these things, through these things, has allowed me to welcome in a new chapter of my life that will bring me absolute abundance, and not in ways of materialistic things, but spiritually fill my soul, where I'm not looking or reaching outside of myself for those things. Just recently, I had moved into my apartment, and I want to share these stories with you guys because I feel like they are things that I've been through and that other people might can relate to, or just know that if you stick to your faith and your spirituality and you believe in yourself, these things are possible. But I had just moved into a new apartment in about September, and my plan was to stay there for a year. I was going to stay in this apartment for a year. And from that point, I wanted to move into a house. So I said, okay, I'm going to give myself a year. And within a year, I'm going to plan from then to move into my own house. So I moved into this place, and my neighbors, they stay upstairs from me. And the apartment that I'm in, my living room, upstairs is their bedroom. And so me being filled in deep meditation and prayer, I do these things faithfully. I wake up to praying and meditating. I burn my sage. And on my days off, I really like to dive deep into my meditation and burning my sage. And I got a complaint. They complained that the sage was filling their bedroom and that they felt uncomfortable sleeping in their bedroom and that their clothes were smelling like sage. And so I had a meeting with my landlord. So my landlord came and we sat and we talked just about there's no candles or sage burning or smoking. And I had agreed with them that day. So by this time, it had been about 2.5 months that I was living there. And it's January now. So this was in September. It had been about 2.5 months that I was living there. And we sat and had this conversation. And they were like, they don't like it. And so I made an agreement because I have 2 children and having a place to stay is very important here in Minnesota. It gets cold. So nobody wants to be out. So I had this conversation with them and we agreed that day that I'm no longer going to burn my sage while I'm staying here. Now, mind you, this is 2.5 to 3 months that I've only been living here and I have to make it 12 months. And that's a part of me now, I believe that speaking things into existence, meditating, my prayer has brought me thus far. And so it is very important to me. So we had this conversation about not burning sage anymore. And my landlord looked at me and he said, "Do you believe that your faith is that important to you where you absolutely feel like you need to burn sage?" And at that very moment, I felt God not nudging at me, like God was like, "Say yes, say yes." And so at that moment, I had to really think. I truly feel like God was speaking through him, and kind of telling me that, do you trust me? Do you believe that everything that I brought you through has led up to now? And do you believe that, is your faith that strong in me to know that I got your back? That you can speak up for yourself and you can say, yes, my spirituality is that important to me, that this is a part of me. Oh my God, I'm having a revelation right now. Like, this is so good. But it spoke to me. And at that moment, I told my landlord, I said, yes, 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 I do. My faith in my spirituality is that important to me, where I feel like I must keep going in this walk of faith, and that my meditation and my prayer, my sage, all plays a part in how far I've came. So simply, I just said yes. And at that very moment, my landlord said to me, it's getting close to Christmas, and, I don't want to push you out, but I will allow you to put in a 30-day notice once you find a place, and that we'll chalk up your 12-month lease and you can go. And so, I was more of like, okay, let me make it through Christmas. Let me do these things that are going to make my family whole, because, the base of my foundation is being a good mother for my children and leading by example, because you can pretty much say anything, but what are you doing? What example are you leading by the things that you do, because children watch, And so it was more of like, God is going to make those things happen. And so what I thought would be a 12-month stretch turned into 4 months and just believing and having that faith that I've made it thus far and that God wants so much more for me. And all I have to do is say yes. All I have to do is stay focused and believe in self-discipline and push forward, and whatever that is, whatever that looks like, even if it looks like I'm out on a limb, just knowing that if I stay faithful to myself, anything is possible. So it actually like just fell in my lap, and I found a house, and it's 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and a 3-car garage, and I have a yard, and I have a family space, and I'll be able to have that space for my creativity, because I also have other things that I do, other than I have my podcast, Okita, but I write poetry, I do spoken word, I write music. I actually have a t-shirt line called Create Yourself. And before, I did not have space. I didn't have just a creative space for these things, but it was something that I was pushing toward. And for that to happen so quickly, just as quick as I said yes, I believe, that I will stick and stay faithful in what I believe, just like that God answered all my prayers. And it is so important to know that these things are real, because when you're out in the world and I grew up in foster care, and I have family, and I believe that most of my family are people that I have ran into, and I just shared that energy and that vibration with, that these are my people. So I think it's bigger than just these are the people that birthed you, or these are your family tree. I believe that you can pick your family, and your family doesn't always pick you, if I could just say it like that. Like, people might not always understand where you come from, and they might understand, but they might not have that within them to push the limits. People like to be and do things that they are comfortable with. So as soon as you start speaking what to them might be the unspeakable, or that what I would say was like the cap of what is every day for them. When you start doing those things and speaking those things, they might not totally know how to fully support you, or know that these things are actually possible for them too. You're not just saying, oh, I want I want to have my own podcast, They're like, oh yeah, sounds good. But you have to know that you can do it, and you might not always have that support of the people, that everyday people that you are around, but you have to know that these things are possible, and that you can push forward and make these things happen, and that it is all a matter of, yes, I can. Yes, I will. I am. I firmly believe in affirmations, because there was a time, I just started this journey 2 years ago. So just being in this atmosphere and living my truth and my life the way that I choose to, no matter what anybody says or thinks or understands, that God understands. And that's why He has delivered me from all of these things that held me back, that contained me. And most of it is self. You know, it's the perception that you have of yourself. I don't really, I mean, there was a time where I did believe that, oh, if they don't believe in me, I don't believe in me. But now it's like, what can't I do? Where can't I go? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a wonderful, beautiful thing when you finally get there and know not every single day it's going to be like that. You know, every day believe, you got to count on those things because it is possible. But there are some days where you second guess yourself and you doubt yourself, and you would think that it would be easier just to stay the same, but that gets pretty tiring, and it almost hurts you. It stunts your growth to not think outside the box and to push over the limitations that you have on yourself. I've instilled within myself self-discipline and self-love and mastering the art of being me, figuring me out, loving me, talking, having those conversations with me, because only me can save me. And I'm just proud of myself that I was able to overcome self-doubt, you know. And I've always had these dreams since I was a child that I was more than just a girl that was in foster care, And I believe that when I first decided that I was going to do my podcast, and this is all spirituality based. But when I first decided to do my podcast, it was going to be Okita Live. And I wanted it to be filled with reaching out to other artists in the community that either rap, sing, that create themselves, immerse themselves in creativity and use those things as expression to kind of get their backstories and interview them and, and have a segment where they actually perform their latest music or a poetry piece or whatever the case may be. And I felt like so badly, I thought that I needed other people to validate what Okita was going to be, So if I had an artist on, it would be about that artist, and it would kind of take the spotlight off of me. And as I started to build and figure out what Okita was as a whole, God started to show me that this is about your journey and you sharing your stories and different outlooks on life to help somebody else. Because there's somebody that is having those sparks of inspiration or creativity of like, this is something that I want to do. And they might not know how to start it. They might not know where to go or things that really will push them to make those things happen. And when I first started Okita, I was looking outside of myself to validate myself. And it's going on 3 years that I finally decided that I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it for me, with me, by me, and I'll let it flourish from there. And I won't wait on anybody or second guess myself about something that is built in my heart that I know that I really want this so bad, and it's for me. It's going to help push me and heal me and open me up to speaking my truth. And I'm hard on myself sometimes. And I'm thankful that whatever it is that stopped me then is not going to stop me now. It's going to help me push and thrive to be the best me that I could be, because having faith and building that foundation for yourself will lead you into the greatest works of the world. And self-love, spirituality, healing trauma, and breaking generational curses is something that we all should push for. That these experiences are on purpose, and that everything that I ever thought that I could doubt within myself, I'm showing myself and I'm surprised, like, look at me, I'm doing this. Oh my God. And I'm just so filled with happiness and joy that I could do the things that I've questioned myself about so much, and I stopped looking outside of myself for these things, and that I know that they're all built within me, and it just takes for me to push them out. So I'm going on a brand new journey. It is the beginning of the year, and I have so many stories to tell and things to share with you. And I have so many opportunities to just work on me and do the things that God says for me to do. Because sometimes even the things that you want are not the things that are meant for you at that time. Because I thought I was going to make Okita and it was just going to blow up and people were going to be like, Okita, go, I thought that it was just going to be an overnight thing. And I'm starting to learn that every day that I sit back and push myself towards these things, baby steps, that it's all coming together. And I had been following Speak Minneapolis for about 3 years. And I thought that I needed a team and that I absolutely couldn't make these things happen without a team. And my spirituality led me to understand that God is on my team. And if he's on my team, there's no way that I could fail. Even if I stumble, it's going to happen for me in God's timing. And that's the most beautiful way that I could look at things now. Even just coming here, when I first started Okita, I used to write out these scripts and just read them word by word or verbatim. And when I write music, I used to hear the beat and I would write a title down. So now I have to stick within what this title is, what I say, okay, the song is going to be named. So now I have to write off of this. But I started to ask God to give me these words. And when I started to ask God, I said, God, give me the words to this song. What does this song sound like to you? And then it flowed. And so now that I'm doing Okita, right now, today, I just ask God to give me the words, to give me the heart, to give me the mind, to share with you guys what is meant for me to share and then everything else will fall into place. Is your spirituality intact? Are you believing in yourself? Are you loving yourself to the max that no matter what, that you're going to be okay, that you're going to make it? I've done so much of hoping that other people see me or other people support me. But now I'm to the point where I support me, and the people that I know support me are my people that I go to, or I know when I look over my shoulder, those people are going to be behind me clapping or, just pushing me forward, saying those things that are going to not really, well, I guess reassuring me that I'm on the right path and I have the right people around me. And you don't worry about the people that don't, or the people that, because most of the time, those are the people that wish for that within themselves and don't even know that it is so possible, that it is here, it is time, you know. Um, I do believe that timing is everything. And so I'm just excited to share Okita and to go forward with just making those decisions of living life to the fullest, experiencing new things, and just really pushing those boundaries of self, because self-discovery, every day I figure out something new that I can grasp onto as an individual that has made me like me more, has made me love me more, has made me more creative and inspiring myself. And those things start to glow outside of you, and other people can feel those vibrations, and other people start to look and notice. I had someone the other day, I have actually two people at my job. One person, just me speaking, when people ask me how am I doing, I always say I am blessed. And the other day, he looked at me and he said, you're the reason why I say I am blessed. And my response is, because you are, you know? And I have someone else that when she's down and out, she comes to me for hugs. And I always hug her and I tell her that this is good. I'm not taking on her sadness or whatever she's going through, but I am giving her some of my happiness and my joy. I'm sending that to her by hugging her and saying, this is good. This is it, So just to share those things, for people to even come to you for those type of things, you know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful experience, and it only makes me want to push forward and bettering myself. Because when I first started this journey, I thought I wanted to take over the world. I thought I was going to save the world. But going about this journey, I've learned that I got to save myself. I got to save myself. I got to love myself. I have to grow outside of myself to be the best me that I could be. And for anybody that watches Okita, that listens to my podcast, I just want you guys to know that self-love is the best love. And you are capable of anything that you put your mind to. There is nothing that you can't do. I believe in God, so there's nothing that God can't do. And I'm not saying that he is in a church. I'm not saying that you have to read a Bible every day, but you have to believe in something. And if it's just believing in yourself, if that's the first step, everything else will just flow. It will happen for you. Believe in yourself. Know that these things are possible, because I absolutely feel like I'm going to be okay. I'm going to make it, and that I will help myself. And within helping myself, I can inspire others to help their self too. That tapping into these things and being creative about it, and overcoming those stereotypes or things, in generational curses of like, don't speak your mind, or you don't have to say everything you think. And sometimes those things sound like, don't say anything. Don't speak your mind at all. And so it's baby steps, but it is worth it. It's going to be a lot of days where you're going to cry. Because I cried a lot on this journey. But it is so worth it to just press those boundaries and push forward. I am excited about this new year. I am excited about moving into my house and just doing differently, this time around. Like, I grew up with 5 sisters. So I never really experienced having my own bedroom. And my daughter's going into high school. Like I said, I have 2 daughters. My oldest is going into high school, and my youngest is going into the 2nd grade. And just with them having that age gap, it's like I could see parts of me within them that I wanted, but now it's not even a want for me anymore, because I have that for them. And so I'm just super excited for my daughter to go through her high school years and just have her own space, and that my 7-year-old will have her own space, and to just experience building these memories together in a different way, because when you have children, it's kind of a chance for you to be a child again, because most of the time, like, unless you just have a childlike mind or mentality, when is the last time you put together a dollhouse, or, you put together a puzzle, or you sat down to do a math problem, other than calculating bills? But when is the last time you actually got to do those things? And so I believe that, like, when you have children, you kind of get to relive those things through them and with them and share those things. And so this is just going to be a whole new experience. And I'm so excited. I am happy to start the year off with Okita, and that I get to actually share these things with the world, not just a podcast, but to have that visual, and to open up these topics for discussion that will all around make me the best me. And it is year 2024. My favorite quote that I always use for Okita is, manifestation is real. If you believe it, if you think it, if you speak it, if you dream it, it will happen. anything is possible. You just have to understand that you are the driver of your vehicle to destiny, you know? So buckle up because it's not always going to be easy. There's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be some people that just run out in the street and you're going to have to honk the horn, but don't let that stop you. There's going to be red lights, so you might have to stop for a while, gather yourself. There's going to be yellow lights, so you might need to slow down. But when it's green, go. Go. And don't look back, because, those things in the rearview mirror, they might seem closer. They might, the little sign on the rearview mirror says things in this mirror might look like they're closer than they actually are. So those things in your past, they might look like they chasing you, but they a few blocks back, So as long as you pushing forward, it's possible. I just want to thrive in self-love. I don't make New Year's resolutions, and I feel like making a New Year's resolution is a restriction, because I think that you get your mind so set on, this is what I said I'm going to do. I absolutely have to do this. But what if you finish that within 6 months? What if you do that in a day? What is next? So I don't make New Year's resolutions, but I do set goals for myself. And I'm on to, like, if I say something, I just want to do it. It might take all year. It might be December 31st, 2024, when I finally actually meet that goal of what I truly said I would do. And that doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that that is your time. That was the timing for that thing. I'm absolutely just living in this moment. I'm grateful and I'm thankful for everything. And I can't just, I keep saying that because it is so true. Like, I'm proud of myself, and be proud of yourself. Live for yourself, first off, because if you are not doing the things that you truly want to do or pushing those limitations on yourself, you cannot expect that from other people. You can't really want, and this was another thing on my spiritual journey, I wanted so much for other people to see me. Oh my God, look at me, I'm so great. Or, listen to my music. But did I believe in me? Not so much. Now, it's not even something that I have to say, because I am living and doing the things that I doubted myself about. And so just live in your truth, live in self-love, keep pushing forward, because whatever that thing is that keeps itching at you and you feel like, I absolutely have to do this, it's going to keep itching at you until you do it. And it's never too late. It's only too late when you stop or you don't do it or you get sidetracked. If you completely just don't try, that's the only way that's going to stop you from doing those things that you truly want to do. And so I'm going to not put a limit on what I accomplished this year. Because if you told me 6 months ago that I would be moving into a house, not that I wouldn't believe it, but it only had to be faith. It only had to be God, And so just don't doubt yourself. Just love yourself and be filled with the I can spirit, that I am spirit. Because once I started saying affirmations and speaking those things and saying, you know, I am worthy, then worthy things started to come. I used to always think that when good things happen to me, I never was excited for them because I was like, oh my God, something bad is about to happen. But when I started to live in those things and say, this happened to me because I deserve it. And great things just started happening for me. And this is a revelation for myself right now, because not that I was second guessing moving, but when these things start to happen and you start to speak these things and you motivate yourself, they'll happen so fast that it'll be an out of body experience. It's like you're jumping and leaping time, and it will become surreal. So just live in gratitude and be grateful and be thankful and understand that these things are meant for you and that anything is possible. This show is about purpose, and that I was purposely given this platform to share these insightful stories and revelations and just proclaiming that I am Okita, that this is my purpose, this is my destiny, and that being famous is not tracked by how many dollars you have, but being famous is how much you value yourself. You know, I don't look for it outside of myself or look for it in materialistic things, but within myself, so much that I just am. Sometimes you just have to be. You have to be still. You have to know that if you gather yourself and you push towards these things, they will happen, and they will start to spill over so much that the people closest to you will start to be blessed, or they might start seeing a glow in you that they've never seen before, and they'll understand that I could do that too. And I think that's just the biggest thing. As I started my spiritual journey, my oldest daughter was like, Mom, I want you to keep doing this stuff because I see that it makes you happy. And your happiness, it starts to spill over on other people. And for me to live in my happiness and to live in my creativity and to push these boundaries are spilling over on my children, and that they will be able to, dream big and know that anything is possible. And even though there might be forks in the road, it might happen in a day, it might take months, or it might take years, but it will happen if you keep pushing forward. You might not have all the money to make it happen, but God will give you everything you need, everything you thought that you didn't. It will happen. And I'm very excited for where Okita is going and just laying the foundation for this all to happen. And that I hope it just swoops me up and just makes me more excited about sharing my stories and uplift someone else. There's somebody else that wants to do a podcast, or they might not. They might want to just be a doctor, not just a doctor, like a doctor's just a doctor. But they might want to push and do something in the medical field, or be a hairstylist, or start their own store. Build their own business, small business, or whatever the case may be. But I am excited, and I will no longer wait. I will make those things happen. I will push forward, and thank you. Thank you for being a part of my journey, and thanking me for getting up and just doing it. Because sometimes that's all you can do, is just do it. And so, like I said, motivate yourself. Write things down. Speak affirmations. Go start doing different things, speaking to different people and exploring different avenues, because you never know where it might lead you. Manifestation is real. It is powerful. Push forward, because if you think it, you speak it, you say it, dream it, it will happen. This is Nikita, and you are watching Okita, and you are listening to Okita. The show is about self-love, spirituality, healing trauma, breaking generational curses, and most of all, this show is about purpose. Thank you. Until next time, be great and be thankful. Peace. Okita, 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 Okita.